where the only sound is roaring engines and screaming chainsaws. We're not just cutting wood, we're fighting a battle with every massive tree. Blood, sweat, and sawdust. Welcome to the world of chainsaws. Welcome to the world of Wood Channel. The worker hung high in the air, using a chainsaw to trim a large tree branch. A strong wind blew across the tree, causing the leaves to shake violently. After cutting, he carefully lowered the branch with a rope, keeping his balance in the swaying space in the sky. A massive tree lay right beside the house, a risky challenge. One small misstep, and the falling trunk could have caused devastating damage. But thanks to the worker's steady hands and seasoned experience, the situation was handled flawlessly. The tree was cut and safely pulled away, leaving the home untouched, as if danger had never been near. The chainsaw screams with a cold edge. In seconds, the blade tears into the log. No hesitation, just one decisive cut. The timber snaps and crashes down with force. The worker grips the rope tightly, climbing steadily toward the treetop. The chainsaw, strapped at his waist, is drawn, roaring like a wild beast in the forest. Its blade meets the bark, slicing through branches with precision. Each limb falls one by one, controlled, deliberate. This isn't just work, it's a balance of strength, skill, and fearless resolve. On a tall tree, precariously balanced in the middle of the jungle, a worker wearing a hard hat stands on logs that are embedded deep into the trunk, balancing in midair. He uses a chainsaw to cut powerfully into the trunk, while the wind whistles through the canopy and sawdust flutters down. The sound of the chainsaw echoes as the tree falls, creating a wonderful and spectacular scene. The worker moves like a performer in a steel ballet, the chainsaw in his hands no longer a tool, but an extension of his very being. Every squeeze of the throttle roars like a battle drum. Each cut strikes down with force and precision, bold, unwavering. Wood chips scatter in all directions, glittering in the forest sunlight like golden dust. The blade glides along its path with surgical elegance, segmenting the log with surprising grace. A thick, solid piece breaks free, dropping to the ground with a heavy, satisfying thump. The air fills with the unmistakable scent of fresh resin, sharp, sweet, alive, wrapping the entire area in the raw perfume of triumph. A giant crane towers over the garden, its sturdy cable hook lifting a large tree trunk above the canopy. The tree is suspended in midair, rotating gently in the wind as it is controlled to lower it to the ground with precision and safety. In the heart of the dense forest, the chainsaw roars to life. With precision and power, it slices through the thick trunk of a towering tree. Sawdust flies, the blade spins relentlessly, and nature echoes with the sound of machinery. This moment captures the raw force of man and machine working deep in the wilderness. The sharp chainsaw screeches as it marks the first incision, tracing the fate of the giant tree. The worker stands firm, eyes intense, scanning every detail. With the precision of an engineer, he carves a triangular notch into the trunk, a deep wedge on one side, carefully defining the fall direction. Every rev of the engine, every screech of the blade is an unrelenting assault. The towering tree is no longer an obstacle. It's an opponent, and the steel is winning. Wooden wedges are hammered in at just the right moment, helping the blade push deeper and smoother, strategic allies in this tactical takedown. Then, crash, the massive tree trembles and falls, its impact echoing like a drumroll of victory. The battle is over. Once again, human skill and power have claimed mastery over nature. Up high, workers use safety harnesses to keep their balance as they prune tree branches with chainsaws. Each large branch is tied to a rope and slowly lowered to the ground. On the ground, a support team quickly pulls the branches into the roaring maw of a wood chipper, which grinds them into sawdust in seconds. In the dense and quiet forest, a worker wearing a hard hat faced a huge tree trunk, then started the chainsaw. The sound was loud. Each cut was decisive. The saw blade was deeply cut into the solid wood. Sawdust flew up. After a few tense minutes, the tree trunk began to shake, tilted and fell into the deep forest with a loud bang. In the snowy forest, a worker wearing protective gear and a helmet approached an ancient tree that had just been uprooted. The tree was lying on its side, covered in a bit of white snow. He started the Husqvarna 560 XP chainsaw, the roar of the engine reverberating in the cold air. The sharp blade cut deep into the tree trunk, sending up chunks of sawdust, blending into the misty snow around. After cutting the roots, the worker used a tape measure to measure along the long trunk, marking each section evenly, and used a saw to cut each piece of wood to the same length, straight and precise. Each cut was decisive, leaving a smooth wooden surface in the cold landscape. On a steep cliff, a worker used a chainsaw to cut a large tree that was rooted to the side of the cliff. The wind blew hard, sawdust flying everywhere. Each cut was tense and precise. On the top of a tall tree in the middle of a residential area, a worker wears a safety harness secured with a sturdy rope. He uses a chainsaw to cut the top of the tree decisively. The top is slowly lowered with a rope.
Отлично.
A colossal log stands tall in the forest, a monument to time and nature's raw strength. But then, the chainsaw roars, a piercing sound that slices through the silence. Its blade meets the wood, sawdust bursts forth, swirling in the air like a sudden storm. What once seemed immovable and unshakable now yields. Even the strongest tree must surrender to the cold, relentless bite of the saw, masterfully wielded by human hands. Nature, for a moment, bows to man's precision and power. English. In a quiet residential area, towering trees are being professionally taken down. The chainsaw plays the leading role, roaring to life, delivering precise cuts to bring down trees that pose potential danger. This isn't about harvesting, it's about safety. Any tree that could fall onto homes during storms is swiftly dealt with to protect lives and property in the neighborhood.
Timer is ready. Clear your watches. Contestants ready.
At the NYS Woodsman's Field Days, tradition meets strength. This is the Jack and Jill Crosscut, a true test of timing, teamwork, and raw endurance. Back and forth the saw moves, slicing through the log with rhythm and power. No motors, no noise, just muscle, skill, and perfect coordination. As the final stroke drops the disc, the crowd erupts. A classic battle of grit and grace, where every second counts.
Explain the rules better, Judge. Oh, no, maybe she got something in her eye or something? Oh, okay. Finger in her eye. All right, good job.
Workers used chainsaws to cut deep into the trunk of a large, charred tree. Sawdust flew, the tree shook and fell down. Giant old-growth trees, so massive it would take 2 or 3 adults linking arms to wrap around the trunk, can't simply be felled with a few cuts. First, they must be tamed from above. The lumberjack stands firmly inside an aerial bucket, lifted high by a crane into the dense canopy. Carefully, he trims heavy, thick branches using a roaring chainsaw. One by one, the massive limbs fall away, clearing the upper structure for the final confrontation. With a long, razor-sharp chainsaw, he approaches the main trunk. Each cut is deliberate and powerful. Then comes the crash, a thunderous boom as the ancient tree finally gives in. The trunk is then sectioned into massive rounds. Each log, thick and tall as a man, rests on the forest floor, a testament to precision, raw power, and fearless craftsmanship. In the middle of the shady forest, a large tree trunk had been cut down and lay on the ground. The worker bent down, carefully dragging a measuring tape along the trunk, marking the sections, each section of the correct length. After marking, he started the chainsaw, the engine roaring. He began cutting each section along the marked line, the saw blade digging deep into the old wood, sawdust flying everywhere. Each cut piece of wood fell to the ground neatly and evenly, as if measured by a machine. In the silent forest, the chainsaw screams, shattering the stillness with raw power. Its sharp blade bites deep into the ancient trunk, sending sawdust flying. Each cut is steady and strong, the lumberjack's rhythm beating with the pulse of the wild. Then, boom, the tree crashes down, ending its long life in the woods. A massive tree stands firm, like a slumbering beast in the heart of the forest. The lumberjack approaches, gripping the chainsaw tight. The steel blade snarls in defiance. Each cut dives deeper, biting into the dense, ancient core. The saw pushes further, relentless, as if tearing into the heart of the giant. Then crash. The monster falls, with a thunderous roar, finally brought to its knees. The bark has been completely stripped from the tree, revealing smooth, pale, solid wood beneath. The lumberjack approaches, guiding the chainsaw with surgical precision into the exposed trunk. Tension fills the air, only the roar of the blade remains. The wedge is driven in, followed by a powerful strike, and then crash. The tree gives way, falling in one final act of surrender. In the forest, two hardhat loggers stood on either side of a large tree trunk, simultaneously holding a roaring steel chainsaw, cutting deep into the tree. Sawdust flew everywhere, the sound of the two engines merging together, creating a powerful and decisive scene. In the middle of the forest, a giant tree towered over the trees, its trunk so thick that two men could not span it. A worker in protective gear and a hard hat gripped a chainsaw as he cut into the thick trunk. Sawdust flew everywhere, and a deafening screech echoed through the wilderness. The tree began to sway slightly, then slowly fell, creating a resounding crash, a moment both majestic and overwhelming.
lipat. Kurang ini. Kowaannya kurang dalam ya.
Kawaan dalam cuma kurang talas. Sedikit saja. Cukup pohon tapi
In the quiet forest, a giant oak tree stood tall, its trunk diameter so large that a person could not hug it. The worker approached in full protective gear, holding a chainsaw with a bar nearly a meter long. Then he started the machine, the roar of the engine breaking the silence of the forest. He slowly pressed the saw blade against the tree trunk, each cut deep, decisive, and long on the thick and solid wood surface. Sawdust flew up with each time the saw blade touched the heart of the wood. After cutting most of the tree stump with the chainsaw, the worker turned it off, set it aside, and took out a large hammer and a metal wedge. He gently tapped the wedge into the cut, increasing the force with each blow. The metallic sound echoed through the deep forest. The giant oak trunk began to shake slightly, then let out a cracking sound. A final, decisive cut rang out. The entire tree, weighing several tons, slowly fell. Leaves flew up, dust flew up, creating a moment that was both visually satisfying and powerful.
Ide. Hop, hop.
The chainsaw roared, wielded with masterful precision by the worker. Its blade sliced clean through the treetop like a razor-sharp sword. In an instant, the crown broke away, plummeting freely, hitting the ground with force, like a final blow in nature's silent duel. In the middle of the forest, the worker wore protective clothing. He turned on the saw blade roared. Shards of coal flew out with a powerful cutting force. Black sawdust floated in the cold wind. Amidst the ashes, the image of the worker appeared full of courage and determination. In the middle of the forest, a group of workers wearing safety gear, helmets, and shoes are working together in harmony. One is operating a chainsaw to cut down the tree, while another is using a hammer and a jack to help direct the fall. The steel chainsaw roars as it cuts deep into the tree trunk. Sawdust flies everywhere. The hammers echo, the tree trunk shakes and then falls to the ground, creating a spectacular sight.
Kiri no me gusta. ¿Sabes qué? No levanta. Son así ramas, güey. Sí, güey. Ya el palo ya está. Son las ramas, sí, sí.
Explicar.
todos los que están ya tumbados. A picar los que están tumbados.
¡Vente!